You're not navigating this life alone. Your higher mind already knows the way. Today, we are continuing our 9 levels of consciousness series, and we are on level 3, the higher mind, aka the higher self. And so, for those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that working with higher self is an amazing way to make progress, because the beauty of the higher self is that it is outside time. So it has a perspective you don't have. And by the way, for those of you who are in specific religious streams, there are other names that you probably have for this, like Holy Spirit. And so again, we are part of Source, aka God, aka the universe, whatever term you use. Again, as Coach Catherine says, God, the universe, Source. And so as you are tapped into this higher mind or higher self, you are tapped into that source energy from outside of time, from outside of your patterning and all of the things that you are going to be going through in this physical experience for your soul's growth, which again is the catalyst that we've talked about. So those are the challenges that you get to overcome while you're in your earthly experience, because again, that is the purpose. The purpose is not to be able to sit here and lounge around and be as happy as you want. The point is to be able to go through life's challenges so that you can overcome them and grow through them. And that is where you find true fulfillment, is in going through those things and in overcoming them, and in the relationships that you build, and in the things that you overcome within those relationships. Because let's face it, all relationships have those moments, right? So again, the higher mind though acts as kind of a bridge with your physical mind to be able to communicate sort of your life's path, right? Because again, it has like the aerial view to be able to kind of direct you where to go. So if you picture a city and you've got, a helicopter up there, the helicopter is going to have a much better visibility than the person on the ground with all the buildings around them and they can't see anything, right? So that's your higher mind or your higher spirit, your higher self, up there, being able to see and direct. So how does it do that? Great question. So it does that by sparking excitement or passion. You feel these nudges, like I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing this and I don't even know why, but I feel this unction, right? So when we follow that unction, our intuition, right, which comes to our unconscious mind, it communicates to our unconscious mind, and then through those unctions, as we follow them, we have feelings that will emerge from that, whether it is feelings of excitement if we're doing it, or sometimes fear because we feel overwhelmed by it. And through those emotions in the subconscious, we communicate back to our higher self how we feel about what we're doing. And so that is how that communication loop works. But this is why the higher mind is so important, because again, this is how it's directing us through our life's path. And again, it's like with a GPS system, okay? There is no one right path, okay? To any destination that you're picking, there is always multiple ways you could go. Even if I'm trying to get to my next door neighbor's house, if I'm trying to get to my next door neighbor's house, yes, I can pull out my driveway and I can hang a right, and then I can hang a right into their driveway. That is the fastest route there, right? But I also could hang a left and I could, go around the subdivision. I could go drive around the city. I could go, drive to the airport, take a plane overseas, take a plane back again. There's a lot of different routes I can take. And so your higher mind is the one that's directing you through the path that is the best choice for you at any given time. So even if you find yourself having taken, kind of a detour that has led you to what feels like a dead end, at any given moment, when you stop and find that place of curiosity, do the shadow work, do the inner work, get quiet, get still, let the unction come up. Because a lot of people will be like, well, I don't feel an unction. Well, how do you know? Like, feel what is the thing that has the most excitement for you in any given moment, and you learn to follow that inner voice by listening to it, by acting on what you hear. But if you don't give it the time, if you don't nurture that relationship, you're never going to gain, traction and momentum with that. So for me, I don't have a problem with this, because this is something, and I say that, even as I say that, my mind starts, going, well, you have this situation that you're not 100% sure what you're supposed to do, and you got this one and that's very true. So even when you know that you hear, it doesn't mean that I have the same level of clarity that my higher mind does. I don't. But what I do have is the ability to trust that I'm going to be led at any moment, and the ability to trust that when circumstances happen that are not my personal preference, that they're happening for me, not to me, and that I can trust that I'm being led on the path that is the right path for me in that moment, in the situation, with the current mental state, current emotional state. Again, this comes back to, I talked about how your reality reveals your alignment, and of course I have a diagram for that as well. But when you think about that, and this ties back to from Empowered Communication, key number 10, your thoughts shape your reality. Why is that? Again, when you are focused on something, you are drawing it into the physical realm. And again, we talked about this even in this series when we talked about the fact that the physical follows the spiritual. So if I am worrying nonstop, I should not be surprised when those worries begin to manifest. If I'm not checking myself and getting myself to focus on something different, of course that's what's going to manifest. You have to take those thoughts captive. You have to be able to shift them and to work through them. This is where shadow works becomes so important, and I will talk about that later. But first, I wanted to lay the groundwork by talking about the levels of consciousness, because again, my personal way that I do the shadow work most of the time has to do with leveraging those levels of consciousness, which is why we're walking through them. So hopefully that gives you some fun ideas to think about, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking about this more.